Author Henry Cloud quotes, "Be wary of someone who has never failed or seemed to have no faults. Too good to be true usually is. Perfection hides something." Grandiose people are those who are successful, but also think they are better or more important than others. They may have a high opinion of themselves and feel that they are entitled to special treatment. They may be boastful and show off their achievements and possessions. They may also try to control or manipulate others to get what they want. Grandiose people can be difficult to deal with because of their inflated ego and sense of entitlement. If someone is grandiose, it means they have an inflated sense of self-importance. If they also have some talent and are very assertive, they may be able to rise to a position of great power. People might be drawn to them because they are confident and have a strong presence. However, grandiose people may make irrational decisions that can lead to disaster. They can also be very destructive because they often make irrational decisions. Grandiose people are show-offs who need other people to pay attention to them. They use tricks to make themselves seem more important than they really are. It is important to see through their tricks and not be fooled by them. There are 6 common illusions they like to create. 1. I am destined. Grandiose leaders are people who try to act like they were born to be great. They make up stories about their childhood or youth that make it seem like they were always destined for greatness. They might exaggerate events from their past to make themselves look more tough or creative than they really are. And they might tell stories about times when they overcame impossible odds. But you shouldn't believe everything they say. They're just trying to make themselves look more special than they really are. Try to find the truth behind their stories, and if you can, tell other people what you find. 2. I'm the common man/woman. This type usually come from rich families or have successful jobs that make them seem removed from the problems of everyday people. Even though they might not actually be better than anyone else, they act like they are in order to get attention and admiration from a lot of people. They act like they understand and care about the average person in order to gain enough support from the public. Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India from 1966 to 1977 and 1980 to 1984. She was from a political family. Her father was the first Prime Minister of India. She was a grandiose leader and quite dictatorial. She changed the way she spoke and dressed depending on who she was around, and she was able to win elections by presenting herself as Mother Indira, a motherly figure who ruled over India in a familiar manner. Grandiose leaders try to make themselves seem like they're just like everyone else, even though they have more money and power. They do this by acting like they enjoy the same things as the public and making fun of people with money and power. People follow them because they're loyal to the group, not just the leader. There are some people in the business world who act like they are religious leaders. This can be dangerous because they might do whatever they want, even if it's not good for other people. 3. I will deliver you. These people are really good at inspiring others, especially in times of trouble. They often have a lot of self-confidence, which can make people feel better. These people usually make grand, vague promises that they might not be able to keep. But because they're vague, no one can hold them accountable if they don't come true. The more grandiose the promises, the more faith people have in a leader. These leaders also need someone to blame for all the problems, which can make people even more emotional. The people involved in this cult are creating a group that is based on strong emotional ties and shared beliefs, rather than on rational thought or a common goal. They use symbols and colors to create a sense of identity and unity, and to appeal to people's basic instincts. People who have joined the cult are very unlikely to change their minds, even if presented with evidence that contradicts their beliefs. It is important to be able to think critically and to keep a sense of perspective when observing this group. 4. I rewrite the rules. A lot of people want to be able to do whatever they want without having to follow any rules. So when somebody comes along and says they have that power, people get excited and want to believe them. Michael Cimino was the director of the Academy Award-winning film The Deer Hunter in 1978. He was also known for his work on Heaven's Gate in 1980, which was a bit of a disaster. Cimino negotiated a contract for Heaven's Gate that allowed him to increase the budget as he saw fit and to create precisely the film he had envisioned, with no strings attached. This resulted in the film being over 5 hours long and costing a lot of money. In the end, it was one of the greatest disasters in Hollywood history, and it virtually destroyed Cimino's career. Grandiose leaders act like they know everything and don't need help from anyone else. They make up stories about their successes, but if you look closely, you'll see that they're not always accurate. You should be careful of following a leader like this, because they're not always making the best decisions. 5. I have the golden touch. This types of grandiose people try to make themselves seem like they never fail by making up excuses for why they lost. Douglas MacArthur was a grandiose leader who made himself seem like he never lost a battle, even though he actually had. These grandiose leaders use excuses to make themselves look good. These people believe that they are magically gifted and can do anything they want. This can be a problem because they might try something that they are not experienced in and then fail. If you know someone like this, you should look at their record and see how many times they have failed. 6. I'm invulnerable. This grandiose leader is someone who likes to take risks. This is what often attracts people to them in the first place. They seem larger than life because of their boldness. But sometimes this boldness is not really under control. They might take actions that are too risky. They might also feel invulnerable because they have gotten away with risky maneuvers in the past. Additionally, these daring activities make them feel alive and on edge. These people are really good at pretending to be something they're not. They're so good at it that they start to believe it themselves. But eventually they make a mistake, and everyone sees that they're not as great as they pretended to be. Merrill Lynch was a financial institution that was destroyed because its CDO, Stan O'Neill, made a bad decision about mortgage-backed securities. Everyone else had gotten out of them, but O'Neill decided to stick with them, and it ended up ruining the company. This happens because sometimes people make decisions based on what will make them look good, instead of what is actually the best decision. In the general, when you are dealing with the grandiose leaders, you can try to deflate this image by pointing out their flaws and mistakes. This might make them overreact, but it could also make some of their followers start to doubt them. If enough people do this, it could create a viral disenchantment that spreads throughout the leader's group of followers. In my next video, I will explain you how to handle grandiose people in details. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family.